Everyone, I'm Heather and welcome back to my channel. So we are back today with I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. In the last one we did go into like a new area to explore, however we are vastly under carded. So we're going to have a hard time actually winning those card battles. I did win a couple, but I think we need to stay in the colony and work on just doing everything that will get us new cards. Because they've got to be better than like the 1 and 2 point cards. And we've got to, every opportunity we can, get rid of those 0 and 1 point cards. But let's go ahead and get started. And I guess we need to work on getting possibly rid of 2 point cards as well. So we got a card from Cal, because it was his birthday. Bravery. Okay. I've been learning a lot about systems, Dis says, writing on his holopalm, like the water cycle and the nitrogen cycle, food webs and decomposition, stuff like that. It's pretty cool, even if it's all textbooks from Earth. He looks wistfully out at the wilderness. There's so much we don't know about this place. Dare you to go in a restricted area? Oh, why do I want a 0 point card? Boo! You dare Dis to explore the creepiest, darkest part of engineering, deep down where even Chief Engineer Instance never goes, under the recycling room, where they say there are ghosts. You set the mood, then sneak around behind him, put your holopalm flashlight under your face and shout, "Boo!" He rolls his eyes. Heather, think about it. If there were ghosts in this spaceship, one of them would be my mom. Oh. Yeah, you guessed that would scare a normal person, but Dis still isn't scared of anything. Okay, now that's got a thing. Well, let's kind of check around. Okay, we don't have that. I'm not just going to randomly give her something. What about Tange? Tange pinches the bridge of her nose. The hunger pains are intolerable, she complains. Just because I'm not out there sweating like an animal in the sun doesn't mean my minimum required caloric intake is lower. If anything, it's higher. Science is the answer to our food shortages. It is short-sighted to hobble the greatest minds in the colony by restricting our calories. Okay, want to study together? You and Tangent sync your holopalms to play a game together where you race to assemble chemical compounds using a simple programming language. Tangent is a whiz at it and breezes through the levels, barely breaking a sweat. You can tell she's hiding a smile when she looks over your shoulder to help you with a particularly tricky algorithm. Okay, Nem grabs you by the shoulders. Heather, you gotta help me, she says urgently. Mom keeps talking about how we're all going to have to start having babies. I think we've already done the baby thing. Want to train together? Oh, that's good. You used to be able to go mano a mano with Nem, but she's been training hard. You get your butt kicked all over the sports ball pitch. She leans over you while you're lying on the floor, completely gassed. You okay, she laughs? I didn't go too hard, right? Okay. Now Dis has thought bubbles, so let's talk. You leave the front gates and see Dis talking to one of the senior surveyors. He listens intently to their instructions, and the surveyor hands him a satchel of instruments and claps him on the shoulder before walking away. Dis turns to you. Hey, Heather, he says. He hikes the satchel on his shoulder and gives you a shy smile. It's still kind of weird to be allowed outside the walls. Let's leave him alone to do his work, because we'll get a card. Dis looks pretty busy, so you say goodbye and let him get back to his work. You'll have to let him keep some of his secrets. For now. Learned Dis more. Okay, I don't know what that means. Okay, but we did get a new card. I want to see. I still have too many, I don't have as many 0 point cards as these 1 point cards. So I definitely need to work on getting rid of 1 point cards and 0 point cards. And maybe start 2 as well. We start getting rid of 2 cards. Gear. Sometimes it's hard. I guess I would have to set this up each time. Because it should tell me based on what I need whether it would be toughness or whatever. I don't know what perk those are that would unlock more cards. Like gear. This would give me +1 to all challenge though, but it's nice for things like this that are +1 depending on what it is. Like that would give me a bonus to those cards. So I mean, they all do something. I guess we'll leave this one as our base one, and we need to remember, depending on... Now, we may not be able to change it if we're in a thing. Okay. Okay, I don't have organizing. Let's check Dad. Can we get a thing? Help him with animals. You spot your dad poring over some plant samples. Never should have wasted my time on those beans, he grumbles. I thought for sure. I checked them over and over. He sighs and scrubs his face. Too late now. Help him with animals. Your dad is helping 2 bristle slugs who've gotten tangled on each other while... Well, maybe they were wrestling. Your dad doesn't want to go into the details. He hefts up the larger one and you carefully pull apart their bristling spikes, being careful not to get jabbed yourself. 10 minutes later, they're back at it again. Your dad shrugs. The heart wants what it wants, I guess. Okay, we got some new cards. I guess the more cards I have that are higher, at least I have an opportunity for that. We don't really want to do toughness. What was over here? Apply to work in the kitchen. I do not have organizing. What would get us organizing, though? Not that. Probably over here, then. Delivering supplies. Working at the depot. Okay, I guess we work in the depot. That'll give us organizing and persuasion. You're scrolling through a hollow novel behind the desk when Tangent comes in. She pauses and looks uncomfortable when she sees you and Mars looking at her, and quickly disappears into the shelves. You and Mars shrug. A few minutes later, Tange comes up to the counter and drops a fistful of candy. She shifts from foot to foot as you ring her up, jostling up and down, rubbing her stomach. I also need something from behind the counter, she says, quietly, some medicine. You ask her what she needs and she mumbles the name. You can't hear her. Can you repeat it? She mumbles it again, a little louder. Mars stifles a giggle. I'm sorry, what? Tange rolls her eyes. Stars, she curses. I need fart pills, okay? The stupid alien bacteria and all the weird native food makes my stomach upset. OMG, Mars laughs. You have blue gut? Really? Tange the Perfect has blue farts? Tange crosses her arms and looks miserable. You give Mars a questioning look. Blue gut? Mars says. You know, when you keep farting and farting all this, like, blue dusty stuff. Mars leans over the counter to get a better look at Tange's backside. Oh, no, she says dramatically. White was not the best color to wear today, Tangent. Your butt's as blue as Heather's hair. Mars cackles as Tange anxiously cranes her neck to look at her rear. Liar, Tange mumbles, not meeting your eyes. Just give me the pills, please. I don't want to talk about my stupid body. Be sensitive and nice. Apparently it did not work. You let Tangent know that you're very sorry this is happening to her. Blue gut is an uncomfortable condition, you tell her, but it doesn't make her a bad person. You will let her know if there's anything you can do to help, you'll be there for her, because that's what friends are for. This approach seems to make Tange even more miserable. She takes her order and rushes out of the depot as soon as you're done. Okay. Alright, so we want... We'll do 4. 4. Well, I guess I should have done a 3 first. Let's do, this is gonna be a 3. Then 4, 4, and 5. Okay. And we got some more organizing. I wonder if we can now talk to our mom. Early wet. Okay. Do people have wet birthdays? Late wet. Late wet. Mars was then early wet. Yeah, so Mars's birthday is now. She liked these flowers anyway, and we have a bunch. Well, I've had better birthday gifts, Mars sighs, rubbing one of the petals, but this will look nice in my hair, I think. Thank you. We did learn that she liked those flowers, so it's fine. Oh, a log. Okay, we still don't know that. We've already done that. Have we gotten Cal's card? Yes. I believe so. Oh, 80 or higher. And we don't have 80. That must be the next level. Okay. So we have to, if we want Mars's card, we would have to have persuasion. It would continuing to work in the depot would help us get both our mother's card and Mars's card. How many do I have? 18. Okay, so let's do that. We will work in the depot again, because that'll give us the organizing that we need to get to level 20 and add some persuasion. It's going to be a long time before we get that persuasion, though. You attend a secret Fun Times Club meeting. Mars brings the meeting to order. Tange reads the minutes of the previous club meeting. First order of business is that I'm instituting a new rule, Mars says, and then clears her throat. Rule 5. All members of the SFC must wear uniforms to all club meetings. She taps her holopalm and shows you her uniform idea. Black pants and dark blue shirts with high necklines and billowing at the cuffs. She definitely designed them according to her own taste. Sure, why not? You voice your support for the new uniforms, but it quickly turns into a shouting match. Cal and Tange don't want to wear uniforms at all, and Nem wants them to be shorts and jerseys like her sports ball uniform. In the end, Mars calls a vote, and you are soundly outnumbered. Mars accepts this with surprising grace. I'm only trying to make us look more legitimate, she sniffs. But if you really feel strongly about it, that's fine. I'll keep working on it until I find something that everyone can agree on. That's Mars. You forgot that she's actually really good at solving conflicts. You come to a compromise. Instead of uniforms, you'll all wear a lapel pin with the club's logo. You spend the rest of the meeting designing SFC pins and printing them on a nanoprinter. If anyone doesn't have the kudos, Mars pays for them without complaint. Okay. Let's see. So I wonder if that would be... Okay, let's do 2. I wonder if it would be better to, like, instead do this. Okay, and have them all be blue. Yeah, I mean, they did give us a +10. Okay. And I got 3 organizing, so that should put us over 20 for organizing in order to get the thing from our mom. However, She has a thought bubble. Oh, let's talk to Mom, though, because we can now get her card. You hardly ever see your mom. She's up before sunrise and doesn't come home until well after last sunset, spending all her time in geoponics. It's like she thinks she can just outwork the famine. Tell her what you learned today. Oh, that's a crap card. Well, you haven't really been in school for a while, or even in engineering, but you tell your mom about some paperwork you had to deal with. You're pretty good at organization, so it was easy. Do you even know why we call it paperwork? Your mom laughs. It's true. It's not like you're sorting actual paper. Back on Earth, we used to have to use paper to... never mind. She slaps you on the back. Good for you for having your head together. Okay. Let's see if anyone has anything else to say, and then we'll go talk to Mars, because I think she's the one with the thought bubble. Nobody had a bird. Cal's was late, right? Late. No one's dust. Oh, they're dust. They're wet. We're in wet, but it's next time. What am I talking about? Tange and Dis are late wet birthdays. Mars is watching a vid from Earth on her holopalm. She gestures you over, and you sync your holopalm with hers. The audio track comes through your hearspeak. Mars knows every word. Beside you, she recites the dialogue perfectly along with the actors. Since the day we met, I devoted my life to finding you. I searched every train station, every coffee shop, every museum and park for you, she says. My every waking thought was only of you. Her voice goes higher. And I dreamed of you, she says. Every night my heart called to yours in the dark. I never hoped to dream I would find you again. I'm here now, she says, playing the first part again. I'm here, and I'm never leaving your side again. Mars drags her hand down her face as the couple in the vid kiss passionately. Ugh, she exclaims. I've seen this vid 100 times, and the end always makes me want to yards. They met on a train once and spent forever looking for each other. Like, move on, you know? It's not like living here where there's only like 100 people to pick from. You're in a huge city. Go find anyone else. Why do you keep watching it? Mars sighs, exasperated. I've already seen everything else worth watching. Before you can protest, she puts up a hand. Okay, fine. I do like the city parts. Like, isn't it post-real to imagine cities so big you could get lost in them? So many people that you could meet someone and never see them again in your life? Mars waves away the vid screen. Sometimes I think I should have been born back on Earth, not this dumb spaceship. She mock punches the hull of the ship behind her. All those cities and people, and the stuff you could do, watching new vids, going to concerts, the only culture here is grown in a lab. Mars sighs dreamily. And the shopping. They have so much stuff on Earth. Anything you could dream, not just the rubbish our old nanoprinters can make. Oh, we don't have that. I'm bored of everything I own, Mars complains. Speaking of shopping, do you want to trade some kudos for one of my old jackets? My dad says I can't print more stuff until I get rid of something. I'd say 50 kudos sound fair? Well, it's a shame because I spent my 50 kudos. Nah, it looks better on you. It does, doesn't it? She says. It was made for me. Okay. Well, I could have gotten a card, but I have no kudos. Because I spent my kudos. I probably should not have spent my kudos. Alright, what else? That's pretty high. So maybe we should relax some more. It'll give me a chance to get rid of a card as well. Oh, we can't do that now. I wonder if I should. Let's relax first. We'll do that next. You sit at the window and watch people hard at work in geoponics. You feel a little guilty putting your feet up when everyone else is working so hard, but who could blame you? The famine has you so stressed out. Maybe you could help out next week, or you could join a foraging team and try to bring back some food. But next month. You can't summon the energy to do that right now. Okay. Let's get rid of this card. This has always been an annoying card anyway, so let's forget that card. It is late wet, so it's Tange and Dis's birthday. Tange watches a stink roach skitter behind some nearby boxes, a look of intense disgust on her face. I hate it here, she spits, shuddering. Giant bugs, constant peril, climate. We were better off on the ship. She grimaces. Many humans carry the erroneous belief that we are great explorers, but I cannot see how that is true. It would be better if we could photosynthesize or breathe gases other than oxygen or endure a greater range of temperatures. No, you see, all humans have ever had going for us is that, until now, there have been more than enough of us to die idiotic deaths without making a dent in our overall reproductive fitness. Okay. Here, I have something for you. What do I have for you? You can have one of these. It seems you remembered my birthday, Tange says, taking the roots and turning them over in her hand. Her lip curls in distaste at the dirt that still clings to them. How thoughtful of you. I have much to do today, but I'll set these roots aside to analyze later. She turns to walk away, then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. That's the same as all of them. Let's talk to Dis. It's also Dis's birthday. Dis is curiously studying a small, bleached white animal skull. Look at this, he says, and holds it out to you. There's mushrooms growing in this one. I didn't know that fungus could grow on bone. It's kind of like everything on this planet was designed to work together. He throws the skull back into the wilderness. Well, except us. Okay, let's give him a mush tree. Dis blinks owlishly at your gift. Is it my birthday? I almost forgot. I hate it when people make a big deal about my birthday, but this is nice. Thank you. Okay. Well, Tange now has thought bubbles, so I guess we should take on her thing. You spot Tange leaning against the wall outside engineering. She's yawning, rubbing her eyes and staring off into space. She startles as you wake up. Oh, Heather, I was just taking a short break. Yawns are infectious. Did you stay up all night too? She asks. I don't even remember when I slept last. It might have been a few days ago. You haven't slept in 2 days? More like 3, she replies, then pauses for another jaw-cracking yawn. But as I said, I'm tired. Even my enhanced body has limitations. You look at her quizzically. I don't need to sleep as much as other people. It's a genetic, what's it, she says foggily. You know, a DNA enhancement. I guess sometimes I even forget to do it. I should set myself a reminder. Hollow, add to schedule, sleeping nightly, 2300 for 3 hours. Her holopalm emits a tone in response. Tangent nods sleepily. That should do it, she murmurs. Her eyes are practically closed. Let's find her someplace to take a nap. Tange follows you obediently into the engineering wing, too tired to protest. You slip into medbay to grab a blanket and pillow off a shelf. By the time you return, Tange has already fallen asleep, curled up in an egg chair in the waiting area. You gently place the blanket over her, and she hums happily before going slack with much-needed sleep. Okay. And our stress levels are pretty good. So, let's see. What is this? This is clear-minded, no stress. 10%. I did not. Oh, we wanted to work in the kitchen, didn't we? I guess it clicked on this because I was clicking here. You've got no stress. 10% chance to get a bonus when increasing skills. But we want to apply to work in the kitchen. Auntie Seaton is back looking for volunteers to come work in the kitchen with her. She's scanning the room for anyone who seems to be loafing around. Volunteer. She bustles over to you. You'll be perfect, Heather, she says, hugging you. Then loudly, to the others in the room, she declares, I'm glad somebody around here is responsible enough to put in their share of the work. So we unlocked cooking. Everyone else ignores her, shifting awkwardly. No one wants to disappoint their auntie. Auntie Sedent gestures towards the nearby cafeteria and tells you to come by next week so she can show you the ropes. Okay, that just gives us something new to do. It gives us some kudos, which would be good. I don't know that I guess we might want to get empathy and creativity. We have none of it. It's not very helpful. I guess we'll try it. You get to work in the kitchens. The first order of business is to find ways to stretch out what you already have. There's a kind of clay on Vertumna that's so rich in algae that it's actually edible. You boil it till it's runny, then skim the frothing algae clumps that float to the top. It reminds you of old earth fables about peasants who would boil stones to make soup. The algae, at least, is nutritious. This sucks. The same can't be said for the sawdust. You catch Auntie Anne sifting it into the bread dough one morning, but instead of shooing you away, she just gestures you to come over and watch what she does. You watch her strong, broad hands knead the sawdust into the dough. This is an old trick from Earth, she says. Sawdust is just a kind of inedible plant fiber, like a kernel of corn. Your body can't digest it, but it doesn't hurt you. It just comes right back out looking the same as when it went in. And in the meantime, she continues, we make enough bread so that everyone gets a piece, and it makes them feel full. She sighs and rubs her nose with the back of her floured wrist. Most of our job is just helping people feel less hungry, Heather. We can't make anything more nutritious or serve more than we have. Making a little feel like a lot is something that people like you and me have been doing for their families since humans first started warming up their food over their campfire. Anne winks at you. Our family is just 100 people strong. I understand. She pats you on the shoulder, leaving a flowery handprint. I'm glad. I could use the help. I mean, what are you going to do? Oh, I guess we missed... No, we did do their birthdays. Okay. I'm fine. Because I'll have an unplayed card, so that'll actually give us a +1. 3, 5, and 2. Okay. How did that go less? Huh. Okay, let's move things around a bit. 2. Huh. Okay, we're gonna have to add a mush log, I guess. I didn't want to lose a kudo either. It's been 3 seasons of heavy food rationing, getting more and more strict as the year dragged on and the fields continued to struggle. You've been wasting away. You all have. It's not just the lack of calories. There just aren't enough vitamins and good stuff in the food you are eating. Your muscles ache all the time. Sometimes you feel strangely euphoric, filled with inexplicable energy, but often it feels like there are weights tied to your shoulders, pulling you down. You're tougher than most, but you still have trouble sleeping, despite being tired all the time. You spend the whole day in a dazed fog. At least you hardly feel the hunger now. For months, the idea of food plagued your thoughts, each one like a dagger in your stomach. They've been replaced by an odd sense of peace. Now you feel half tethered to this reality, floating above everything like a balloon. Your friends stopped working to retreat to their quarters. You lie to each other on the HoloNet, all saying you're okay, just taking it easy, waiting for the harvest. Well, the harvest came and went, as meager as ever. Your mother still hasn't given up and never rests, never stops working, as much as your dad begs her to. She must be sleeping in geoponics because you hardly see her in the family quarters anymore. From where you lie nestled in your bed in your cozy fugue, it all seems like far, far too much effort to bother. Let's help your mom. You're out there in the fields with her, being her sidekick, helping fetch things. She never slows down. When the robo-plow finally breaks under the pressure, she doesn't. She's out there even longer, doing everything by hand. Both your parents feel responsible for this famine, but as head of geoponics, your mom is taking it personally. She's been skipping meals, relying on water and pressed soy bar rations, just enough calories to keep a body moving, but not enough to stay healthy. Yet she never lets up working herself to the bone, barely even sleeping, increasingly sallow-eyed and gaunt. You and your dad try to slow her down, but, well, she's a stubborn woman. If not her, she says, then who? You and your dad are in the lounge, slowly sipping your vegetable broth. When there's a commotion at the doors, someone runs in, gasping for breath, yelling for you and your father to come to geoponics. Is our mother dead? You run over, knowing deep in the pit of your stomach that something terrible has happened. When you see the faces of the agriculturists, your mom's people, you know the feeling is real. Your dad sees her body first. He lets out a cry like something you've never heard before. A deep, unimaginable pain, dragged up from the darkest parts of where fear lives. Your dad falls to his knees, beside the frail body of your mother. He pulls her into his arms and sobs, wretched and agonized. You don't even know what to think. Your mom always seemed larger than her body, but seeing her now, there's nothing there, just a fragile shell. They tell you she didn't even cry out. She just went to her knees and then lay down in the dirt, and that was it. She's gone. Your mother's body is taken to the incinerator room, and that night the colony gathers to pay their respects. Do you join them? Yes. Like Tammy's funeral, the incinerator room has been cleared and a wreath of flowers placed over the mouth of the organics recycler. They're white astrantia, your mother's favorite flower, carefully carried from Earth with the hopes of it flourishing on Vertumna, just like you. You stand with your father and Auntie Anne. Udicott and the rest of the council are here as well, including Rhett. You're surprised to see tears rolling down his face. He's such a hard ass in the garrison. Cal is here with all the other agriculturists. The rest of the colony waits in the canteen to offer their condolences after the service. Governor Udicott gives the eulogy. As a colony, we share our blessings, she begins solemnly. However, today, in sad company, we gather to share the burden of our grief. Fluorescent was born on Earth, but she, more than many of us, exemplified the spirit of our endeavor to bring life to beyond the stars. She bore life, not only in her body, but bringing it forth from the ground she so faithfully attended. The debt we owe her is the kind that can never be repaid, she continued. It is with deep and unbearable grief that we must continue on without her, in awe and respect for her sacrifice, the depth of which was never expected of her, but which she did not expect of anyone else. It is on her strong shoulders that she carries us still. Udicott closes the door to the recycler, and the particle disintegrators begin to reclaim the molecules that once formed your mother. Your father squeezes your shoulder, making a small choked-off noise of pain. As a community, we remember Fluorescent. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, her sacrifice is recognized in the manifest body of the colony. The ceremony is adjourned to the canteen, where a somber wake is held in your mother's memory. There isn't enough food to dull the emotions, and your empty stomach only reminds you of her unfinished work. Well, we have to take a month off, because we can't do anything. Your father is the new head of geoponics. In a few hours, he receives your mother's remains so that he can add them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. You touch the cool lid of the container, marveling that your mother could fit in such a small box. You don't have to be okay, your dad says quietly. His voice is thick with emotion. I know I'm not. I have to keep going where she left off, but if you can, you should take some time off. I think we kind of have to take off because my stress is like crazy. Okay, let's take the month off. Okay, it's glow. The prospect of just going back to work like everything is normal is too much to handle. The suns dip below the horizon and glow begins. You end up spending the whole month alternating between sleeping, scrolling the holonet, and staring into space. It's restful, at least. A few days after the funeral, surveyors return with an unexpected bounty from the Valley of Vertigo. It's enough to survive for another month. Until the new year, maybe, if you keep rationing. The colony will continue to limp along, but without your mother. The roar wakes you. It would wake the dead. It shakes the walls, rumbles through the ship's hull, and makes your heart skip a beat. You're paralyzed by a sudden clench of fear in your gut. Through your porthole window, you hear metal screeching and people shouting. Then you hear another roar, guttural, and rumbling like the sound of a mountain collapsing. Something enormous is out there. Let's run out to face it. You don't know what gives you the courage, but you run out to the fields to face the horrible creature Oh, what? It has no face. In place of a face, or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mess of writhing pink tentacles and blinking eyes, pocked with jagged, asymmetrical teeth. It stands on 4 enormously powerful legs, each as wide across as tree trunks. Clinging to its back and its thick, slug-like tail are clumps of lichen that glow faintly in the night. The creature is nearly twice the height of a greenhouse. It's standing on top of a flattened one, the wreckage of lattice and plants all around. Flickers of light from plas rifles and stun gloves light it from underneath, and the stench of ozone is thick in the air. You see Nem and her brother Calm darting in and around its legs with their twin shocks of red hair. The faceless creature lurches into another greenhouse, oblivious to the soldiers trying to herd it away. The monster left a trail of destruction from where it smashed right through the walls. Smaller creatures are pouring in through the gap and heading towards... They're headed straight to command. You watch helplessly as the hordes of animals storm command, sneaking through torn-away panels and smashing through the windows. It's too far away to hear the screams, but Governor Udicott is inside. You have to do something. Let's save Governor Udicott. The smaller creatures are making a beeline for command, slipping into the heart of the colony while the defense squad is distracted. The line of slinking, many-legged beasts pass by much easier targets, moving with eerie, almost tactical purpose. Whatever's happening, you have to stop them. The scene in command is chaos. The blast doors that would have protected the bridge from depressurization in space are held open by a mound of corpses, both human and animal, and inside you hear Governor Udicott screaming for someone to help her. Oh, don't be like, 59. This may be too much for us. Okay. Okay. So... Okay, good. Okay, let's see. 2, 3, 3, and 5. I'm not sure we can do better than that. I mean, maybe we could, but those all have bonuses for that gem. Okay, I have to do 25, which I should be able to do. I have no gems, so that one doesn't really matter, but it's fine. 2, 5, 5, and 8, yeah. Okay, that's the best I can do. You beat back enough beasts to help Udicott escape the bridge. As you shelter under a meeting room table, you hear horrible noises from the rest of the ship. Metal screeching, that terrible abomination roaring, the sound of creatures outside tearing their way through the hallways and trashing everything. Suddenly, the ship lurches and drops a few feet, buckling under the weight of something massive. Out the porthole window, you see a fleshy pink tentacle slap against the side of the ship before the faceless abomination outside crashes to the ground, taking the entire outer wall of the ship with it. Udicott sobs quietly into her hands in the sudden silence. You wait a long time until congruence gives you the all-clear. The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the oppressive gloom of Glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the Faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratospheric, spilling its flaccid pink tentacles from its horrible zipper-toothed maw. It's already beginning to stink. At least the governor survived. Governor Udicott takes the stage and thanks you, personally, for rescuing her during the attack. Because of your bravery, the colony still has its leader. She also acknowledges the bravery of the defense squad, citing their heroism and finally taking down the Faceless. If only it hadn't gotten away from them and stampeded right into the stratospheric. At least they stopped it before it got into engineering, as it would have activated the reactor and left a crater the size of an asteroid impact. Geoponics is gone, the greenhouse is destroyed and fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, and only barely scraping by, you're not just back where you started. It's even worse. Everything your mom sacrificed herself for, gone in one night. The entire front half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, even the crush. It's all gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that people hiding in the crush weren't all killed. Governor Udicott solemnly reads the names of those that lost their lives. Too many. You all stand for a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Nem and her family cry out when her brother Calm's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded into the classroom with other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all still so shaken. Nem cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. You feel like you've been awake for days, and you'll never fully sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually you fall asleep sitting up, held in your father's arms. Your sleep is fitful, but mercifully dreamless. Rest for now. Well, that was traumatic. I guess let's just see if there's anything to pick up. It did not say you lost any of your other friends, so I guess that has not happened. Well, I guess that's where we're going to go ahead and end today's episode, and I guess we can't leave at all. I guess, yeah. So, yeah, on that note, that is everything for this time, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.